Hey everybody, have you considered starting a podcast? We here at Screwball highly recommend Podbean for getting your podcast out to a larger audience. Podbean has given us the opportunity to easily bring you Screwball each and every week on all of your favorite podcast services. Use the link podbean.com/screwball to sign up and save up to 35% annually. You can also use the link podbean.com/pro/screwball to sign up for a business subscription. Happy podcasting. Hey everybody, welcome back to Screwball, a baseball podcast, your home for everything baseball. I'm your host Mike Lepre, here with my co-host Frank White.
Hey, how's it going?
This is episode 128 of Screwball, and we are inching ever closer to the MLB playoffs this week. We have big updates as far as playoff shifts in standings, and we also have more Aaron Judge updates as well as some Albert Pujols updates, as we have been kind of keeping up the last few weeks. But this is going to be the last episode recording during the regular season, really. This will release the last day of the regular season. I believe all the regular season games are at 4 o'clock this year. They usually kind of all keep it kind of the same. So by the time this goes live, you can listen to it, watch your team's last games. There may not even be anything to play for those last games for any team, so we'll see with that. But let's just jump into it with the top of the news, as we always do, being an Aaron Judge and kind of an Albert Pujols update. So, since last week's episode, Aaron Judge hit home run number 61 to tie Roger Maris for the all-time AL home run record with 4 games left to play. He is also currently second in the AL in average for the Triple Crown chase to the Twins' Luis Arraez. I believe he's 4 points down. So, he did get in home run number 61, so him and Roger Maris, the only ones in the American League ever to hit that many home runs. He's still got 4 to hit 62. It's kind of getting to crunch time with him. And, there's not much time left for him to do it. I think he's probably got like 16 more at bats total. So that's where he is. Albert Pujols hit 702. He's got 701 and 702. He hit his last home run in the regular season at Busch Stadium, which of course he did. Him and Yachty and Wainwright had their moments there. Pujols tied Babe Ruth second all-time in RBIs, so,
The official RBIs.
Yeah, well, yeah. So barring anything crazy happening there, I would imagine he would pass him. I think the RBI is a little bit easier than Judge getting his home run. So he may sit all-time second behind Hank Aaron, which is amazing. But yeah, that's our Aaron Judge and Pujols updates. Judge, putting himself, really enshrining himself in AL home run history. And Pujols just furthering himself as being one of the best players to ever play. So there's really there really wasn't much more he even had to do once he hit 700, but he keeps going. So.
Oh yeah, he's just gonna keep motoring on. That's what he does.
Yeah. So big news for those guys, and by this time this goes live, barring Judge maybe doing it during Game 162, we may have an answer. He may have hit 62 by the time this goes live. He may hit 62 while we're watching here. So. We'll see there, and Pujols, there's still time left for him. He gets that RBI or hits some more home runs. Maybe he finishes with 705, who the hell knows? He just goes absolute berserk one game. Yeah. So that's where we're sitting with those guys. So from there, let's move on to number 2. This is a little bit more of more topical, really big landscape moving stuff for the playoffs. So since we're inching closer to knowing the full playoff landscape, with the Braves sweeping the Mets over the weekend, and entering Monday, kind of recording here, barring an unlikely flip of the NL wildcard and the NL East, the Braves sweeping the Mets over the weekend pretty much gives them the NL East title and would be the number 2 seed behind the Dodgers. And the Phillies are sitting in a pretty good spot, 2 games up in the NL wildcard, so they're in a pretty good spot. They'll probably be the 6th seed, barring anything there. I don't know if they're even within range of the Padres realistically. So could we see kind of a historic flip with just 3 to 4 games left, depending on the team? I think the Mets, a lot of conversation's been around the Mets from this past weekend, getting swept by the Braves. It's very big for the Braves to pretty much sew that up. And Mets fans, of course, again, being left just in disbelief of their team. Because they just seem to do it every year. But all in all, Mets still... What do they have, 98 wins this year? Still a good season. Just you really don't want to be in that wild card spot. You don't want to have to fight in a 3-game series all of a sudden to maybe a hot team.
A team like the Padres or Phillies.
Yeah.
Phillies is a division rival. You don't want to fight them. Or the Padres is a very talented team.
Yeah, and you just almost like a litmus test for the playoffs. you had Scherzer, DeGrom, and Bassett go against the Braves and lost all three. Maybe that opens up confidence for other teams coming in saying, well, they could do it.
And they weren't.
Why can't we do it?
Wasn't they lost 1-0, 2-1? Like the pitchers did good. They probably every pitcher get four runs or more. In that.
Yeah. Now, granted, a good Braves team. It's not like they just gave it up to the Nationals or anything. But
the two best pitchers in baseball, they say, and got beat.
Yep.
So I believe the Mets hold since DeGrom came back in their 2 starts, DeGrom and Scherzer starts since he came back, they're under 500 as a team, I believe. Obviously, everyone knows about the 10.5 game lead in June and out the window now 2-game deficit. What's going to hurt them is they're going to go on a 3-game series. If they win that series, they're now going to play the Dodgers with DeGrom and Scherzer probably only pitching once each. So they're going to rely on the back half of your starting rotation, which Taijuan Walker's been not the same pitcher. Carlos Carrasco we know how he is. So, and then maybe get a second start out of either DeGrom or Scherzer, maybe.
Right.
So.
And it's against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
They have 110 wins right now.
Exactly. So they're in a tough spot. That was a fail by the Mets there.
Yeah. To get swept.
Yeah. Overall, I mean, they blew it. Obviously, the transactions at the deadline weren't really the reasons why they lost the series to the Braves. They got swept because all the guys who they had were the reasons that they win. Right? Lindor had a bad series. Nimmo had a bad series. Alonso, the pitching, the bullpen never had a lead. Things like that. But if you went out and made a move better than Tyler Naquin or Daniel Vogelbach at the deadline, you probably don't get swept by the Cubs a couple weeks ago. You probably don't lose 2 or 3 out of some of the Marlins. You probably don't lose a bunch of those games that you shouldn't have lost. Mm-hmm. And you probably should have made a move that was better than Tyler Naquin or Daniel Vogelbach. Not that they're not okay players, but we're a team that wants to spend all this money and compete with the Dodgers and stuff like that, and you come out with Daniel Vogelbach, and they come out with Yankees come out with Montas, and these other teams come out with all these big moves. Padres come out with Soto, Cardinals come away from guys, and you come up with Vogelbach and Tyler Naquin. I'm not going to say you're throwing money around, are you?
Yeah, right.
So
very true.
That comes back to haunt them a bit. Now, was that the reason they got swept by the Braves? No.
No.
But would they have won a couple more games if they got someone that would, help the team better? Sure.
Yeah.
Philly can catch the Padres. I believe Philly's 1 game back of them.
Okay.
Milwaukee's 2 games back of Philly at this point, so I think that's almost wrapped up. But Philly's not been playing good either. Seattle makes playoffs first time, breaks the longest drought in professional sports. Playoffs. They hold a 1.5 lead on Tampa for the last wildcard spot.
Looking good for them.
So we'll see what happens there. Other news I had, obviously the Cardinals did their final regular season farewell tour there. Pulled Wainwright, Molina, Pujols all out at the same time on the mound. Pretty cool ceremony. They all spoke. They had old players there and things, so that was pretty cool. 3 of the best players we've seen in a long time. Yep. Arguably one of the best catchers who ever played a game, and really probably the best right-handed hitter baseball's ever seen.
Yeah.
Pujols. We have Tony La Russa announcing health reasons he will not be returning, so he will be fully retired at this point. For good or bad, we already had our discussions about that. I always thought Tony La Russa was a good manager. Not sure what happened there. Player teams didn't really play for him, but it is what it is. He gave it hell, and he's gonna kind of retire in peace now. Finally.
Yeah.
And the last little bit here, I think is going to be a topic of the day I have, is what we're seeing with Arraez is pulling players for stats, batting titles, awards. Is that okay to do for baseball? Arraez has sat, 4 of the last 7 days?
Yeah. Citing a hamstring injury.
Yeah, which he was day-to-day early in the month when they were still in the hunt. So, I mean, it makes sense. But they're not playing for nothing. They're risking it, or they're kind of trying to do a little bit of both. Like, let's not do something stupid with him, but also let's not blow his batting title just to get him at bats and a season. I don't think they're 500 anymore, or they're about 500.
Right.
So, but is that something? Does that bother you, or is it something maybe baseball steps in and says, "Hey, let's not do that"? I don't think baseball can step in and do that. I really don't.
No.
But is it something that bothers you? If he has an issue, it doesn't really bother me too much, but. He played all year. He deserves a say. We've seen Arraez do it, right? And bunt and then take himself out of the game. I thought that was kind of...
Yeah, but...
it's like he did that all for that reason. He bunted for the single. He did all that for the batting title. it's a great achievement in the batting title,
Yeah.
I think in certain situations it's okay. It's just hard to watch sometimes. You kind of pull yourself out so you don't blow something. It's like, well, give yourself a shot,
Mm-hmm.
But, it is what it is. You can't fault somebody.
No, you can't tell them they can't do it.
Win the batting title. I mean, how many people are in each league? Hundreds and hundreds. For you to be the one that wins the batting title. And then a guy like Arraez, who is not a household name.
Mm-hmm.
You're battling with guys like Judge and Bogarts and Devers and Trout sometimes, right? And, Altuve's in the years, whatever year it is, the guys you're facing, like, these guys are Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Me, Arraez could have, he's a hitter who can, his career's young, but some guys never really get that chance again. It's like, can you fault them? No, especially if you have some sort of injury or issue, or you're a young player and there's no reason to play at the end of the year,
Right.
Like the Mariners were out of it. They were playing Julio Rodriguez. He had a little bit of an issue. It's like, would you play him? Play him a little bit if he wants to play. It's his call. If he wants to sit, hey, I get it. We're not in the hunt. Now, if you're in the hunt and you're pulling yourself out because of batting title, that's incredibly, that's just idiotic. You can't do that.
Right.
So there's a couple sides of the coin there. There's other things to look at as well. I mean, we seen Sandy Alcantara not going to pitch his last start. Hell, that makes sense. Guy's thrown 228 plus innings on a team that has no chance. Why pitch him an extra 6 innings?
Yeah.
God forbid something happen, right? So that makes sense. Is that saying, oh, well, he's going to try not to lose to Cy Young? I think he's got that wrapped up if he pitches or not.
Right. Yeah, there's just no point.
Yeah, so there's things that do, pulling players, like I said, I think it's up to a player. It matters the situation. It matters for pitchers. I think it's a little easier. I just don't want an extra 6 innings on his arm. Makes sense. If you're in the hunt, you're pulling yourself out. You're going for playoff seeding. You're trying to get a playoff spot, and you're pulling yourself out here down to days, without an injury at least. That's Bush League. Play the game.
Mm-hmm.
If you deserve to get it, you deserve to get it. So there's different sides of the coin there. I think. Am I too upset with it? With Arraez in his situation? Not dealing with the hamstring and just there's nothing going on.
Yeah. Right.
Give him his credit. He's gonna win the batting title. It's also, he ain't points behind him.
No.
He was 4 points away going in today, and I believe Judge is 0 for 2 today.
Mm-hmm.
He's 5-6 points up on him.
More or less got it.
Yeah. So it's, I'm not sure where you feel, what you feel on this is, I think it's more base to base. I thought Reyes's was felt a little bit more kind of Bush League with Reyes. I don't know why. He took himself out of the game.
He bunted for the hit.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We kind of knew it was coming, too. I think that was the big thing. He kind of said for a week that they were going to kind of playing for that batting title. I don't know. I just remember Reyes, I felt different than I did with Arraez.
Mm-hmm.
And that was National League. And you could say, oh, Arraez, well, you're a Yankee fan, so you'd be rooting. And he's got Triple Crown going. Really, give him a shot, right? I don't know. I feel a little bit different with Arraez than I did Reyes.
Yeah, I think it is a case-by-case basis. You can't tell a player you can't do it. You can't tell a team they can't do it. You can't police it. It's, you're the Twins, where the Twins thought they'd be. They thought they'd be playing for something here, but they kind of faltered at the end, and the Guardians went nuts. So in that case, I would imagine he'd be playing if they're looking at a wild card spot or something, and they're trying to. I don't think there's really anything you could do at that point, and he would want to be playing. I think Luis Arraez is kind of that kind of player.
Yeah.
But if he's dealing with a hamstring issue, and he's there's nothing to play for, they're out of it really. I get it. Like you said, Alcantara is another one. He's basically at this point just the Cy Young because the Marlins aren't doing anything. He's protecting his arm. They're protecting his arm. They're protecting the award. That makes sense. And you're not really keeping it from anyone because you've got, Tony Gonsolin and
Gonsolin can't. He's not even qualified.
Oh, okay. He didn't,
I guess technically you can.
16 wins. He isn't qualified for the.
I don't think he's even
incredible.
150 innings.
It's incredible.
Arraez, I don't think barely has 150 innings.
Yeah, well, he's another guy that.
You need 150 innings to qualify for most stats and awards. Obviously, you don't need it for MVP and awards, but for stats, ERAs and stuff like that, you need a certain amount of innings compared to your game. Same with plate appearances. I think you need 3.1 plate appearances for every 3.1 plate appearances per team game.
Oh, okay.
So your team plays 162 games. You need 3.1 plate appearances, which comes out to 400 and something plate appearances.
Something like that, yeah.
To qualify for batting averages and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, in those cases, there's some that make sense, some that don't. Jose Reyes just sticks in my mind. I remember him it's like, you could tell he was playing for that batting average because he came in, bunted, left.
It was talk about it. I think he said he was kind of playing for. I think the Mets were still in the hunt that year. I don't remember exactly what was going on. I just remember the Mets one with Jose Reyes. It was like that. I didn't feel quite right about. I don't know why. I'm sure we see it every year. Oh, 2 games left. Oh, just sit.
Yeah,
Title,
right.
Or ERA, or guys pitch. They pitch 3 innings just to get to the 150 and then pull me out. It is what it is. I'm not a big fan of it, but certain situations you can't get too mad at the guy.
No, it's like, well, think shoe on the other foot. Aaron Judge has the 315 average, I think Arraez has.
And has a 67 home run. Right?
And he has say he has the Triple Crown. And the Yankees really at this point have nothing to play for, really, but Judge's home run. It's kind of, because they clinched everything they need to clinch.
Let's say he had the home run. Right? Let's say he hit that home run and he has literally nothing at this point, Judge. And he's holding the Triple Crown. Just don't play him.
Yeah. And so shoe on the other foot, then Yankee, because I know Yankee fans have been kind of chirping about it. It stinks because you want your guy to win the Triple Crown. You got to root for him all year, and he's having a historic year, and blah, blah, blah. But shoe on the other foot, if Judge was in that driver's seat, you'd want him sat as well. And most teams, the Yankees probably would sit him because, well, first of all, he's your guy. Want him healthy for the playoffs. These games don't matter. He's got the stats wrapped up. Makes sense. Luis Arraez not playing for anything. Basically got the stat wrapped up at this point. Yeah. And he's a big player on that Twins team. He's like their biggest hitter.
I'm the greatest guy in baseball.
Yeah,
he's a true hitter.
And I think he led the league in average pretty much all year.
Oh, yeah,
it's not like he snuck in and stopped playing.
I think he was batting 400 into May.
Yeah, I think he was batting 340 after the All-Star break. I mean, he's had an incredible year. So it's not like he kind of like a Bogarts for a second was leading.
It's like 3 years for Arraez. He's been way up over 300.
Yeah, so he deserves it. But as a blanket, I don't know if I could give a blanket statement whether I like it or not, because it's always year by year and stat by stat, and sometimes it's the MVP, sometimes it's the home run leader, sometimes the RBI leader. It could be a pitcher.
I think pitching's a little easier to get it by.
Yeah,
like I don't want to throw 6 more innings on my arm. I get that.
Yeah,
I get
that makes more sense.
Especially on a bad team, where you're not playing for nothing. I think pitching makes a little bit more sense than a hitter.
Yeah, I agree.
I think pitching, you go, okay, you know what, let's. Especially in Sandy Alcantara's case, I think someone was like, "Well, is he trying to hold the Cy Young?" I'm like, "Hold it. He's been holding it since May."
Yeah.
Well, you think Julio Arraez was 150 innings, pitching 5 innings a game, is going to hit it?
Yeah, exactly.
Sandy Alcantara has 8 starts in a row to quality 7 innings or more.
Right.
He had 8 straight starts with 7 innings or more pitched.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Luis Arraez has 8 in his career.
No, he's pretty much got it locked up.
He gets 6 complete games. I don't know if Julio Arraez has 6 quality starts.
Probably not.
Mike had him on his fantasy team. How many times did he go in the 6th inning?
He would 5 1/3, 5 2/3.
Maybe 6 if he's lucky.
Yeah, and he would, I don't know why, because the dude would have like 80 pitches, and they're like, nope, pull him out.
Yeah,
it's like, all right.
I'm not, dogging the guy. The guy's been pitching good, but you can't tell me that that's the Cy Young.
Yeah.
Plus, Sandy Alcantara on that Dodgers team, he's got 30 wins this year.
Oh my God, yeah, yeah.
So pitching I think is a little bit different. Hitting, it is what it is. I'm not a huge fan in certain situations, but hey. You want to pull yourself out. You want to get yourself a batting title.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's a pretty difficult feat.
Especially like I said, if you're not that top guy, Arraez, he's not really a top guy right now in baseball. I think hitting wise, pure hitter, he's very good.
Mm-hmm.
But he looks up there. People are gonna look up there and go, "Who won the batting title that year?" Oh, you had Judge playing, and the Harpers and Altuve's and all these superstars. Right? Tatis, he's an idiot, but Machado, Goldschmidt, it's the National League. But you just look at the league. In total, right? Mookie Betts and Bogarts and Devers and Judge and LeMahieu and guys like that. Jose Ramirez.
Mm-hmm.
And Luis Arraez won a batting title.
Yeah, right.
That's hard. That's pretty cool, right? Mm-hmm. It's a little bit smaller name guy, so you got to give him his credit, and he wants to sit for it, especially dealing with a hamstring issue. Then go ahead, do your thing.
Yeah, right.
They're not playing for nothing, so it is what it is.
Yeah, again, shoe on the other foot. If it was your guy doing it, you'd...
And you have a chance to beat him.
Yeah.
Go hit.
Yeah, yeah.
And Judge, right? He was right up there with him.
Yeah.
If Judge was hitting, he's got to play.
Mm-hmm.
Judge went 0 for 4 a couple games here. Now he's dropped. It's like, well, that's what happens.
Yeah, right.
You were hitting with him. You were a point or 2 behind. You're right there. Get a hit. You beat him.
Yeah.
Then he's got to play too,
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, then all of a sudden he starts playing because it's like, well, now I got to protect my lead, Yeah, I'm not just going to let him walk by me.
It's like we're a 3-game lead in the division, You got to play your guys.
Mm-hmm.
10-game lead in the division last year with the White Sox. You can sit your guys for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of got it wrapped up.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you keep it close, but you got to play ourselves.
Right.
You keep the gas on, and you keep your your bumper on my back bumper, I got to keep the gas down on my car too, right?
Mm-hmm.
You give me a 7-second lead, I could lay it off a little bit. It's the same idea in every sport and however you want to manage it, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna run the clock out in football. Keep the score close. I'm just gonna run the clock and kneel it out, right?
Yeah, same
keep
idea.
It close. I gotta get first down, so I gotta keep the game going. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same idea in every sport. You just gotta figure out,
Yeah, I mean, I don't love it. It's not like I'm sitting here saying that it's totally fine with me, because it does sting a little when, you have a really good race going and then one guy just sits, and it's like, okay, so it is like running the clock out in football, where it's like, all right, it's kind of boring. I think that's maybe my biggest complaint, is that it becomes boring, where it's just, instead of like, you're tracking this, oh, this guy got a hit today, this guy got 2 hits, and you're kind of going back and forth, but then it kind of fizzles out. Yeah,
it's like the home run race in '98. He's
yeah.
just smashing home runs because you had to.
Right?
Yeah. That guy he would never be able to look at himself. If Luis Arraez went and played for no reason and blew the batting title.
Yeah, exactly.
It is what it is.
Yeah, he'll probably get it, and good for him.
Absolutely, because he's a player no one talks about, and he's a pure hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Mayhew, those type of hitters.
Mm-hmm.
Benintendi type of hitter, a pure hitter. The old school Rod Carew, people compare him to. He plays first base, even though he really shouldn't, and he hits in the Twins, right? And the Tony Gwynns and the Wade Boggs, and I'm not saying he's as good as those guys, but
that type.
It's that pure hitting type that you just don't see in this day and age, for damn sure.
Mm-hmm.
But give him his credit. No one even knows him, and he's going to win a batting title and have a shot. A pure hitter for 5, 6, 7, 8 more years.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hey, listen, like I said, don't love it, but there's always a time and a place for it, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. It's kind of case by case. So
I think in Arraez's case, he's not really doing Arraez, I should say. He's not really doing something wrong right now.
No.
It's not like they're in the playoff race and he's doing it.
No, and he does have a little bit of a hamstring thing going on, so it's like, why run him out there to possibly get hurt?
Every day. He played
every
game.
Yeah.
Like, I think he probably missed 5, 6 games all year.
Yeah, he's a gamer. He wants to play. You can tell that out of him. So, yeah. So that's kind of how I feel about it. I don't really I'm not like I'm blaming him or the Twins organization for sitting him. I'd do the same thing.
Yeah.
Most teams and people in that situation would do it. So
in this day and age.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I guess with that, let's wrap up the news section of the show and move on to the hot and cold section of the show. So number 4, who's doing the best right now?
I'm tired of it.
Yeah, I don't really know how much I need to keep updating. This is really one of the last ones.
Plus 380, right? Almost
Dodgers,
breaking the record.
yeah, the Dodgers own and will own the best record in the league at 110-49. Mm-hmm. So they clinched the best. Yeah, because I believe they now clinching the best record in all of baseball. I believe they hold home field advantage in the World Series if they get there, right? Yeah. The Braves own the second best record in the NL at 159. Over in the AL, the Astros on the best record at 104-55. Almost quietly, because they weren't really challenged for that division.
No one heard a word about the Astros. They got 104 wins, but the big talks is the Braves, Mets, Dodgers, right? And the Astros just slung in with 104, 105, 106 by the end of the year.
Yeah, it's quietly. Yeah, after losing Correa too. So, and getting a questionable Verlander back. So good for them. Even though they are the Astros. The Yankees have the second best record in the AL at 97-61. The Dodgers have the best run differential in the league at plus 333. And the Nationals have the worst at minus 235.
That's incredibly bad.
So, and the Pirates are right there with them. I think they got like minus 228. They're not far off.
Yippee, right? So, some teams I got here have been playing good. Some hot teams: Yankees, Cleveland, Detroit. Finally, right? The Angels, Braves, Giants. Some cold teams: Red Sox, White Sox, Rangers, A's, Reds, and the Mets. Mets got swept out of that, so they deserve to be on that.
Yeah, not great.
But yeah, that's what I got, hot and cold, team-wise.
Yeah, definitely the Mets not feeling good. Mets fans, poor Mets fans. Always,
Frank the Tank, right?
Oh my God,
He's a ruckus.
I just think of Frank the Tank every time
He's always going, right? You can't stand him. He's chewing on the thing.
I know. Poor Frank. Frank the Tank, that is. Not Royals great. Across from me, Frank White.
Yeah. We should bring him on the show one time.
Yeah.
Frank the Tank.
I would love to have him. Poor guy. I just watch him fucking melt down.
Yeah.
After
Dolphins fan. It works for me. Every team loses. He's chewing on the thing. He's going nuts.
Poor guy just couldn't have the division.
Yeah, he's been saying it every day. The Braves don't lose.
Yeah.
That video, everyone took that to heart and they yell at you lose. They never lose.
He was trying to warn everyone.
Oh, he knows.
Yeah, he knew it was
He
coming.
knows his team better than anybody.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know, he knows what's gonna happen. He's a Dolphins fan, Mets fan. You know, he knows how it goes.
Yeah, you can't just have one nice thing, you
No,
know.
it's like here it comes that, there it goes. Yeah, that's what happens.
It's like an abusive relationship, you know.
He's just fucking. He's nuts.
Yeah, so. But moving on from there, let's move on to the who's hot and who's not section of the show, the hot and cold players. I'm not sure who won the players of the week. I saw players of the month. I can't recall all of them because they're pitchers of the month, players of the month, rookies of the month, all that's good stuff. So the guys I got here, though, for the hot players of the week, number one, I have Taylor Ward, batted .522 over the last week with an .870 slugging and a .1412 OPS. Number two, Jeff McNeil, batted .524 over the last week with a .667 slugging and a .1212 OPS. Number three, Levon Soto, batted .500 over the last week with a .750 slugging and a .1226 OPS. Number four, Jock Peterson, batted .450 over the last week with a .950 slugging and a .1492 OPS. And number five, Tristan Cassis for the Red Sox, batted .421 over the last week with a .632 slugging and an .1174 OPS. I believe he was a higher prospect for them.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. So
I
guess
one Soto who's hitting this year, right?
Yeah, at least one of them. Yeah, sure.
Incredible. So, some other guys I got here: Whit Merrifield playing well down the stretch here. George Springer, Gio Urshela, and Matt Olson red hot. I think he's got 5 home runs over his last 6 games and 4 games in a row with a home run. All 3 games of the series against the Mets, he had a home run. He looks like he's getting red hot here and he's that kind of guy who can ride it for a month or so and really do damage in the middle of a lineup.
Absolutely.
Some pitchers doing good. Corbin Burns pitching well. Zach Greinke pitched very well. Ohtani in the Cy Young race at this point. Stroman, last 2 starts have been really good. I know we haven't heard much of him all year. And Liam Hendricks. I believe we had 3 or 4 saves over the last week. So there's some pitchers there that have been pitching well here down the stretch.
Cool. Haven't heard much out of Liam Hendricks. I guess with the White Sox not really just having a weird year. But let's move on to the cold players. Number one I have here, Randy Arozarena, batted .043 over the last week with a .130 slugging and a .284 OPS, maybe contributing to the Rays' recent struggles. Number two, John Birdie, batted .091 over the last week with a .091 slugging and a .258 OPS. Number three, CJ Cron, who really had a good year overall, batted .095 over the last week with an .095 slugging and a .225 OPS. Number four, Matt Chapman, who had been red hot really for a while for the Blue Jays there. Batted .056 over last week with an .056 slugging and a .246 OPS. And number five, Spencer Torkelson, batted 0 with a 0 slugging and an .056 OPS. Really, I think at this point you could say called up a little too quick because he's really had a bad year.
Yeah, Yeah, it's been bad for him. So hopefully this doesn't ruin his outlook of his career.
Yeah, because I believe he was a number one he was like can't miss.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, cream of the crop there. He didn't hit the snot out of the ball, but
yeah. So hopefully, like you said, hopefully that didn't because that was a big part of the Tigers' kind of rebuild.
And Baez,
guys like him.
Terrible, but
yeah.
Some other players here I got here: Bohm for Phillies struggling, Willie Adames, Nico Horner. And Lindor stats technically weren't quite like these guys. I think he was like 170 this past week or so. But it was the moment that you needed your $400 million whatever you're paying a guy, and he laid an egg. So I just wanted to put him on there
and first 100 RBI shortstop.
Oh yeah, he had a good year just when you need him most. And
that's what I'm saying. That's your guy.
Yeah, him and Alonso. Yeah, Alonso could easily be on here as well. So some pitchers: Michael Walker have been cold. Cueto. Framber Valdez, Merrill Kelly, and John Gray. Those are some pitchers that have not been pitching well over the last 7 to 10 days. Next thing I got here is some injuries, mostly playoff news, or people you're going to be say in the playoffs at least. Dave Peralta day-to-day for the Rays. Ron Maracchio for the Yankees day-to-day. Zach Britton done for the year. I'm not really sure. Arm fatigue, and they put him right on the 60-day IL. I'm not really sure if they just meant like don't think he's going to be ready. They said there was nothing wrong with his elbow. I don't know. I really don't know. That was pretty weird. Salvador Perez day-to-day. Josh James for the Astros. I know we haven't heard much of him all year, but he's getting surgery, so he's going to be done here. Adrian Hauser on the IL for the Brewers. Logan Webb shut down for the year. Chris Taylor day-to-day for the Dodgers. So that's all I got on that injury side of the news. On the good side, DJ LeMahieu activated for the Yankees. Clay Holmes expected to pitch for the ALDS. Frankie Montas could be back for the ALDS or ALCS. Benintendi could be back for the ALDS. They're already saying Matt Carpenter's going to be back for the ALDS. So I know that's a lot of Yankee news there. Zach Plesac activated. Michael Kopech got surgery on his knee. He's obviously done at this point. Julio Rodriguez is expected to be activated today on Monday, or if not Tuesday.
Okay.
Spencer Strider, they're saying probably NLDS. Expect to have him back at some point in some sort of capacity.
Okay.
So on Marte, they're trying to push forward. He still can't grip a ball. He can't really grip a bat. They tried swinging, they said today, and it didn't go well at all. So we'll see what happens there. Jordan Hicks for the Cardinals expected to be activated here pretty shortly. Tony Gosselin expected to be activated today. And Blake Trinan, not really much of an update. And Dustin May, they're saying maybe in the playoffs. So there's your update there for guys coming back for most of these playoff teams. So we'll see. Some guys come back earlier and they just have smaller roles and stuff. Like Spencer Strider might come back more as a 2 or 3 inning guy instead of a starter, which would be dominant still.
Yeah. I mean, look at Glass now just recently coming back. I mean, you get him going,
and the Mets,
even in a smaller role.
Do the Mets activate Marte, maybe use him as a pinch runner in the playoffs? With the idea of maybe in another week or two, he can at least go to play defense, throw the ball, at least be a pinch runner, right?
Yeah.
Do you waste a spot in that? Whatever. There's things coming up. We'll figure it. Everyone figures it out. Yeah. Other than that, I know we talked batting average, right, and record and stuff, so I wanted to go with that again for our trivia question. So in 1910, which team hit for a record low 211 batting average as a team? Now this is the MLB record post 1900.
Yeah.
So post 1900 and 1910, which team hit for the MLB record low 211 batting average as a team? And the answer is the Chicago White Sox, who then years later went to not long after were the Black Sox scandal, right?
Yep.
And
kind of helped almost destroy baseball.
Yeah, and then made Babe Ruth's image even bigger to the game, right? Was the Black Sox scandal, him coming in after and being a ruckus.
Yep, as he does.
Yeah, but the actual MLB record for that, for all time, how to put that in there?
Of course.
Is the Wilmington Quick Steps of 1880, 1887, 1884.
Rough.
They they weren't very good. In 18 games, it was only 18 games.
Yeah.
Only 18 games, though. They batted .175, so 175 they batted.
Boy, oh boy, not
they
great.
They technically hold the record, but again, that's not really what we're here for, right? Post 1900 was the White Sox. Pre that, the Wilmington Quick Steps with a 175 average. That is not very good.
No, not a great season for the fellas.
No, 18 games of a team of, Joey Gallows.
Yeah.
Right? Well, Joey Gallows is 168, so, team average there is, he wishes he was 175. But essentially 18 games worth of a team full of Joey Gallows.
Jeez Louise.
I think they won 2 games. They were 2-16, so.
I don't know how they won 2 games batting like that, but incredible.
You got all your hits in 2 games.
And that was in an era where
the hell out of some couple games.
I guess so. Yeah, you won 1-0 or something on I don't even know.
Yeah, they probably played 18 games in 2 days.
They were probably the team that hit that ball into the mud and the 2-foot home run.
Yeah,
probably that team,
well,
and they won 1-0.
yeah, they won 1-0. Yeah, they probably pitched. Like I said, they probably played 18 games in 2 days.
Probably, yeah.
Half-hour games, rolled through 8-9 innings real quick.
Oh yeah, guys just throwing strikes, throwing it right down the middle, hit it.
Called it on. Got the umpire out of the crowd. How
it went. Yeah.
It's just a ruckus.
Yeah, it's just literally a completely different game at that point.
211 in the post 1900 batting average baseball world is pretty hard to do.
Yeah.
In an extended season, we've seen the COVID year. There was, I think the Reds had like a 212 average. It was 60 games though, and I don't know, no fans and stuff. I don't know if you can really count that 60 games. It's a bad stretch, and that's all she wrote.
Right.
But 100 White Sox, 150 whatever, 4 games, 156 games, whatever it was. That's about 211.
Yeah. In
a batting average world back then.
That's all the teams and players really shot for batting average.
It wasn't 400 as players and stuff. So to have a 211 team average, that's quite hard to do. So just thought that was pretty crazy. And we talked about batting average and batting titles. I thought that was let's bring that up. So, but that's
incredible.
A trivia question.
Yeah, it's just old baseball is always funny. It's just there's always something new.
The Wilmington Quick Steps. Never heard of them.
Literally,
absolutely never heard of them.
All the time that I've watched and studied baseball, and I've never heard of them. It just goes to show how incredible baseball history is.
Yeah. Absolutely chaotic.
Yep. It's just chaos. Before 1900, it was the Wild West of baseball. Yeah, the Civil War just ended, and the fellas were getting together with a foam ball just about, and
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Talking about the war.
Yeah. I just got home from the war.
Yeah.
I lost a leg, but, we'll be all right.
Yeah, I amputated my leg. I burnt down Charleston, but
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I don't know what we were doing, but
No, just out at the park. Cannonball's still active in the field, probably.
Yeah, trains running active, and people just running over them.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll get together.
Yeah.
The old spitball.
Yeah.
Civil War. Johnny, you had the best spitball back in town. Before the war. Post-war, now he throws his curveball because he got 3 fingers missing, and so you get 3-finger Brown.
Yeah,
It all comes together.
See?
High Pockets Johnson.
High Pockets Johnson, yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, so...
I wonder if Ray Shark was on that White Sox team.
He might have been. He probably deserved it.
1910 would make sense. 1910, the team average is 211. He probably led the team with a 250 average.
Yeah, he was really killing it that year.
Yeah, it was his best year.
Yeah. So that's, old baseball for you. It's a good trivia question. Because, it really isn't like, you can at least take a guess 1910. You got a few teams you can work with there. It's not like the original question you had, the quick steps.
I would put that in. That would have just been for show.
Everyone, would have just thought that we made up a name, but
yeah, it's incredible. But.
Yeah, so but that's all I got for this episode. We're looking forward to these last 3 games. So by the time this goes live, like I said at the top of the show, you can listen to this and 4:00. You got all your whatever team you listen to or follow. Really, you can watch the game and we'll move right into the playoffs the next few days.
The seed, where you're playing, who you're playing, what time you're playing. Are we gonna have a new AL home run record? Are we gonna have a triple crown? Who won the batting title? Who won ERA leader? Who won the wins? We all have that by Wednesday.
Yep.
And then by Thursday, it's everything resets, and it doesn't matter if you hit 62 home runs. It matters if you're gonna get 10, 12 more wins.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah, exactly. So good luck to the wild card teams, really, because next time we'll talk, the wild card teams will be done.
And you get the absolute chill in the air, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna get that chill in New York, and you're gonna get the chill in some of these playoff towns, which is perfect. You gotta love that for baseball.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, that's where we're at. So just ready to go, and not much else to talk about. So
yeah,
let's wrap this baby up.
Yeah. Let's wrap this one up. Thank you guys for listening. You can catch this podcast on Apple Podcasts as well as Google Podcasts and Spotify. You can listen on our regularly updated YouTube channel as well as our website, screwball.podbean.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Mike Lepre. You can follow me on Instagram at Mike Lepre.
And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at FDubs10.
You can follow our official Screwball Twitter at ScrewballPod. You can follow our official Screwball Facebook at ScrewballPod. No E in Screw. And that's it from us, guys. We'll see you next week.
Yep, take care.